the UK is in the middle of another heat wave, but I want to go to 3 places close by Middlesbrough called Great Ayton, Stokesley and Great Broughton. Now these are places I used to visit a lot as a kid, but I've not been back there for years. We'll get there, we'll have a look around, I'll tell you a little bit about the history of those 3 places. Let's go. Right, so I'm here, and it says on the sign, "Welcome to Great Ayton, the boyhood home of Captain Cook." Captain Cook, of course, the famous explorer. He lived here as a boy, he went to school here, and then he moved to Whitby further along, and he became a famous explorer. Although nowadays, in the political correctness, he's not quite as renowned, maybe because of his slave trading antics. But over there in the distance, you can see the huge peak of Rosebery Topping. I'll be talking about that more later. But yeah, it's a famous peak in these parts of North Yorkshire. Right, here we are, literally a 10-minute drive from where I'm living in Middlesbrough. This is the beautiful little river, beck, in Great Ayton, with some little ducks there. So yeah, I used to come here mainly as a teenager to do camping trips with my friends, and there's a Rosebery Topping, the Matterhorn of Cleveland. We used to camp out near it and climb up it and have a few cans of beer. But a nice little church there, the Village Club, it says on it, 1915. When I was a teenager I didn't notice actually how nice these buildings looked. Suggett's, that was always one of our stops. Let's go in it, see if it's changed, see if I recognise it. I'm guessing it's over 30 years since I stepped foot in this establishment. Yeah, I remember all these sweets being sold, and you could get, yeah, there, all of this stuff, similar. Yeah, I've not been in here for 30 years.
These have only changed.
No, it looks exactly the same. Have you worked here long?
Yeah, 17 years I've been here.
So there we go, an ice cream bought from Suggett's. As the woman said there, it never changes. It looked really familiar. I've sat in there so many times. And of course, what Great Ayton is most famous for is the boyhood home of Captain Cook. And this building here is his old schoolroom. And this little plaque commemorates that. Captain James Cook. So I've moved just across the road to the High Green, this area. And like I said, when I was a teenager, I didn't realise how quaint and good looking Great Ayton was. But it is. Look at that building there right along. And here's a statue, I'm guessing, of the great man himself, Captain Cook. Maybe on his way to Whitby, dragging his piece of wood with him. Yeah. On the other side, the Royal Oak Hotel. And we used to go in there when we were like 16, 17. One of our mates, my mate Jeff Lodge, if you're watching this, Jeff Lodge, he had a moustache and he had a bit of stubble so he could get away with it. So he buys our drinks. But on this one occasion, just before we set off to the camping trip area, there was the local hoodlum with the improbable name of Bumlock. I think that was his name. And he came in and he was giving us a bit of hassle, but my mate Jeff Lodge, he settled things down and we got away with it. But yeah, I've been in there, the Royal Oak. So it's saying here that for many years this area was rough pasture, but it was dominated by the Ayton, or the former Ayton Friends School, opened by the Quakers, which is this building here. Look at this photograph here of the High Street and the Royal Oak. Look at that. I'm going to try to recreate that now. Right, if you're wondering where the name comes from, Ayton means like a farmstead, and Great Ayton is not to be confused with the Little Ayton, which is nearby, which is just a tiny little village. I mean, Great Ayton is not exactly massive, but I'm going to head back now towards Suggett's and cross over the river. This is Waterfall Square. It's coming back to me. Just past the waterfall. We used to come down here. This wasn't here, it was a stile, like a wooden stile, and we'd walk all the way up there for our camping trips, carrying our bags, our tents and our bags of beer. And this one time a herd of cows chased us and we had to run like mental over this barbed wire fence, and I remember I got caught on the barbed wire fence and I've still got the scar on my leg to this day. It was bleeding like hell. Still carried on camping of course, but yeah, the scar is here. Look, can you see it? And this red thing here is an old Victorian urinal. You'd stand behind that and it'd be connected to the sewers down here. Dare I look in now? Here you go, look. I wonder if it's still in use. No, it's not, it's all padlocked. But yeah, an old Victorian urinal. Right, that's it, Great Ayton done. And if anyone knows of the whereabouts of Bumlock, he'll be in his 50s now, I'm guessing, late 50s maybe, say where he is. I salute you, sir, Sir Bumlock. What a name, eh? Let's go to Stokesley. So, I'm on the road now to Stokesley, literally a 6-minute drive from Great Ayton. But yeah, I'm in the countryside of North Yorkshire. So the name Stokesley is Anglo-Saxon, according to this ChatGPT, and it means like an area near like a stock, a farmstead, Stokesley. It gained its market charter back in the 13th century, and now it's like a nice little place to retire to or live if you're commuting maybe into Middlesbrough. Look at it, look at Stokesley. This is the town hall. Replaced an older town hall from 1853. Used to have a butter market in the back of it. And this is around the back. You wouldn't think so, would you? No sign of the butter market, but there's a little sign here that says Market Cross. The site of the market destroyed 1783. I wonder why they knocked it down. Well, there's a big police station. Is there a crime epidemic in Stokesley? Right, just wandering aimlessly. I didn't really come here as a teenager. It was a little bit too, well, not too far, but Great Ayton was our place. I don't know why, because Stokesley seems much better. Yeah. I'll tell you, there are no vacant shops in Stokesley. Every shop is something, and they're quite nice. Look how affluent it looks. If you make your money in Teesside, maybe this is where you retire to. Every house looks really good, doesn't it? But I'm just here at the War Memorial to the names, the people who died in the Great War, First World War. So I'm guessing the people who volunteered from this little village were like farmers, and off they went to France and Belgium, lost their lives. Beware of gravestones, they can be dangerous. So here, I'm in the grounds of the parish church of St. Peter and Paul, to the River Leven. And here we are, the church footbridge. So look at this, just across from the river, the Stokesley mill wheel. It says the original mill was destroyed, but they've got this one back, and it's from about 1850, I think it says, preserved as a relic to Stokesley's milling past. I love these little signs. Look at that, Stokesley Market back in the day. Loads of horses. But anyway, there is the manor house, can you see it? And it was lived in by the powerful Wynne Finch family, the lords of the manor. But they've gifted it to Stokesley Council now. But let's see if we can have a look at it a bit more. No, it's closed off to the plebs. That's as close as I can get. Not posh enough. So that's it. Let's go to my final stop on this afternoon adventure. The little village of Great Broughton. Have you heard of it? Well, you're soon going to be seeing it. Let's go. So this is Great Broughton. And the reason why I've come here even though there's not much around, is something significant happened in my adolescence, a milestone. I'm not sure if it happened over there or somewhere else. I'll tell you about it in a second. But before that, let's just read a little bit about Great Broughton. It says it is a village in North Yorkshire, northern England, and it was formerly dependent on agriculture, textiles, and, wow, he's got a noisy bike, and the mining of that famous black rock, jet. Look at those hills in the background. It's definitely a gateway to the North York moors. So yeah, this is what happened. When I was 17, like many young men of my age and era, I wanted to buy my first ever pint of beer in a pub. And I tried in Middlesbrough town centre, and they always turned me down because I looked too young. Didn't even have any stubble, nothing. So we came here, me and my friend Jeff Lodge, who I mentioned from the camping trips of Great Ayton and Bumlock. And I went in, I think it was this pub, maybe it was another one further along, but it was certainly in Great Broughton. And I went in confidently to the barman, 2 pints of beer please, 2 pints of lager or whatever we asked for. And there he did, he poured them. I got them when I was 17. Now that might not seem like a major thing, but for me, as a 17-year-old, that was a rite of passage. That was one of my greatest moments. I absolutely loved doing that. But yeah, so it's got good memories for me, Great Broughton, and that's why I came here, even though it looks like there is nothing at all to look at. So Great Broughton actually has 2 pubs. So it might not have been that one, it could have been this one, the Jet Miners. Right, let's head back to the car, that's it. Done Great Ayton, great trip down memory lane. Stokesley, impressed me. Great Broughton, not much here, apart from that significant memory. Till next time.